keep betting on crypto. Let's go off the charts with Robert Slimer of Fundstar Global Advisors. Hi, Rob. What are you looking at?
Hey, Melissa. Thanks very much. So the technicals are always really important with cryptocurrencies. You know, thinking about regulation and what happened with the tax issues, that was a big downdraft in Ethereum, roughly between 1,000 down to around 350. So that, to me, was really where you had the crux of all the issues, all the concerns coming in. And this looks like we're putting in some sort of bottom. But what I think is interesting, we get this news out today, and Ethereum.
And it's really interesting that the price of Ethereum was getting crushed so bad if you were looking at that chart. And like I said, I bought into that dip. Hopefully you guys did too, but it just didn't make sense. Obviously there were going to be future regulation passed and it could be considered a security, but please watch a previous video. I kind of went over why you shouldn't really worry about the regulations of Ethereum. And let's go ahead and let the video continue.
Ethereum really doesn't break down again. We really don't see this rollover. In fact, when we take a look at the technicals, Ethereum has already rallied back up into this 700 range. There's a lot of resistance around the 200-day moving average. And if you look at one of these momentum indicators like RSI, it was pretty overbought. In fact, we see that on most cryptocurrencies, and it looks like they're due for a pause, and we're starting to see that. We already saw that in Bitcoin over the last week, week and a half. So in general, I think the reaction of Ethereum to the news was relatively positive today. And when we look at Bitcoin, there's something much more interesting happening here as well. For example, it started to stall at the 200-day. Momentum's gotten overbought. We're starting to see this.
And you can see in this chart too where, you know, we had this crazy rally down here in early April, and it seems like we're kind of flatlining, but we'll go ahead and let him continue with his analysis.
Consolidation. There's a tremendous amount of support here between 8,200 and 8,400, and I don't think there's a lot of downside. This is around roughly 9,600 where Bitcoin began to stall. The key point here is this huge downtrend that's been in place since January is now reversing. So the question is, are we seeing a bigger bubble, or is this a bottoming phase? And we think it's a bottoming phase that's taking hold, and that you want to be buying this pullback from this short-term overbought. So a lot of comparisons have been made to the NASDAQ going back to the 2000.
And like I said, they can use these historical models, but at the end of the day, no matter how good your odds are, you can't predict the future. So a big thing I've been talking about is dollar cost averaging. I have been making a lot of buys between February and April. And now that my average buy between that time period was mostly under 400 billion, I'm still going to make some purchases, especially if there's a pullback. I'll probably put in some limit orders after I'm done making this video. But that's the main thing, is that you should try to obviously buy at least once a month, hopefully when you think it's a dip. And then kind of like I said, it's impossible to predict the market. It could go up, it could go down. It's fun to watch the technical analysis. A lot of the times they're not right, and that's why there are markets, no one can really predict it. But the main thing is to obviously be setting aside money to invest. And like I said, you can't really time the market. So if you're just buying once a month and doing the best you can to kind of average in, and you know, if your average buy price was a certain amount and you can get obviously a price a little bit lower and keep bringing down your average buy price, that should be your main concern. So they can show all these charts and talk about the NASDAQ, but in my opinion, it's not relevant. What you should be trying to do is obviously be investing, saving money instead of spending it, because I'm sure a lot of people, if it's not put into crypto or put into real estate or put into stocks, you're going to go ahead and buy some new Jordans or buy something that will basically be worth zero. So I think that's the main goal of the channel, but we'll let him continue. Well, actually, I'm going to make another video to finish off his analysis, but let me know what you guys think, and I will talk to you soon.